Stop. It is a scam. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. They're stealing your money. Hi, I'm Micah with Plan Your Federal Retirement. And I got to say, I've been seeing a lot more of suspicious activity going on. I've been hearing about it from clients, from other advisors that I coach. I've been seeing more of it in the news. And I want to take a minute to reach out to you guys and say, hey, we need to be hyper vigilant online so you can keep your money. Now, if you're one of those people that think you're not going to get scammed, you're probably higher on the list of getting there or not, because maybe we're not looking at things as suspicious as we need to. And I'm going to share a couple of stories with you and some experiences that we've had and kind of how we like to filter whether something is a potential scam or not. And this isn't a foolproof list. Unfortunately, these scammers are good. No, they're not good. They're evil. They're both pond scum, right? It's ridiculous, but they're very effective at what they do. So their tactics are always changing, but there's always going to be a combination of a couple things that we see, which generally identifies it's a scam, and they're trying to steal your money. And again, they are extremely effective at this. They have gone after some very smart individuals that know better, and they get caught up in this emotional plea that happens. And then all of a sudden they're taking money out of their bank account and the money's gone, and it's tens of thousands of dollars. And then there's all this embarrassment. I can't believe I did this. They don't want to share it with anyone. No, we got to talk about these things. Mistakes do happen, right? So if you're caught up in it, my heart goes out for you. I am sorry. We have to talk about these things. We have to let other people know so they cannot be scammed as well. So let's go into a couple of different ones. So a couple of things that kind of happen is, number one is you're going to see in this kind of story, there's going to be some emotional play. These scam artists are extremely effective at getting you on this emotional roller coaster, this whipsaw of emotions, which gets you to do things that in your rational brain you wouldn't have done. Because rationally, when we sit back and think about things like, hey, this doesn't make any sense, I'm not going to do it. But when your brain is hijacked, right? And now all of a sudden that your brain is kind of kicking in and the amygdala is kind of kicking in and you got more emotional side that's going on with it, your rational brain isn't functioning as well to see this. That's why in hindsight, it makes super easy, because we're kind of past a little bit of the emotions. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ignored these warning signs. So a couple of examples that have happened, and again, I've talked to people all across the country, and it's kind of the same, is you'll get either a computer virus and you'll have you call a number, or someone will contact you, etc., and be like, hey, your information's been compromised, your computer's been infected, and you know what? You're part of this bigger scam. You're part of this bigger undercover operations that the federal government has been investigating, and they were going to indict you on all of these crimes, but if we act now, you can be saved. Okay, you're a really good guy. They'll talk to you over multiple days. Don't tell anyone. This is another thing, right? Can't tell anyone about this, right? If you tell anyone, then all of a sudden you're going to go to jail. The police are going to come. They're going to seize all of your assets because we're actually investigating your local police department who's caught up in this as well. And so they're playing these emotional things, and in your mind, your rational brain, as you're listening, is like, this doesn't happen. This happens, right? This happens, and they're very good at how they communicate this. I'm giving you this in a really quick debrief. They spend days building the story with you and really kind of pulling you in. They have you talk to multiple people, so it feels like, oh my gosh, this isn't one person from overseas scamming me. This is a legit U.S. organization. They pose as people working for the federal government, right? So all of a sudden, when someone is playing with your emotions that, oh my gosh, you're going to go to jail unless you do something right now, that's a sign, right? So, that's generally not the way we're sure. I'm not in law enforcement, but talk to a few people in law enforcement. That's generally not the way that this thing is go down. And they can say, you cannot tell, I gotta act right away, and you cannot tell anyone about this. That is a warning sign, right? If you're working with a financial planner, if you're working with a CPA, and somebody calls you and wants you to do some financial transactions, says, do not talk to your financial advisor about this. Do not talk to your CPA about this. That should go to a level 10 warning, right? Right up there at the top. Why can't I talk to these other trusted professionals about this to make sure it's a good idea? And then the third thing, the warning sign, they're going to have you remove money from your bank account, or they're going to ask you for compromising information, as in your bank account numbers, your routing numbers, etc. I don't give those out, right? I'm kind of a pain in the butt about this. I love paying for things on credit card. Why? Because my credit card is compromised. I'm not responsible for fraudulent charges, right? It's an inconvenience, but it doesn't cost me money. When people take money out of my bank account, now all of a sudden this could be a problem for me. So I want to make sure as I'm going through this that I'm keeping my information as private as I can. So do I use checks? Sure. But I only leave enough money in my checkbook that, God forbid, if it gets compromised, I'm okay losing that money. I keep most of my money in savings and money money markets and I end up having to transfer it in to cover things and to clear things because I don't want to leave too much money exposed, right? So if someone is again asking you for that private information of your bank account number, or they're asking you to withdraw cash in and put it somewhere else online, this is another giant warning sign. Whether it's Bitcoin that you're going to put the money into for a secure currency, it's not right. Or if it's going to be withdraw cash and meet someone at the bank and we're going to securely move your money because your bank's compromised, we're going to move money out. These are all massive warning signs, right? So there's schemes and scams going on like that. There's also other ones that are going out there that says, hey, we have this amazing investment opportunity, but you have to do it right now. Otherwise you are going to lose out. Warning sign. Huge warning sign right there. I have been part of 8-figure deals as things. I've been advising on deals, big deals, small deals, etc. And I'm not the one that knows all about these things, etc. But one thing I will tell you in all of my experience with this and everyone I've talked to, heard, etc., there is never a time where you have to make a decision in the next 12 seconds or you're going to miss this giant opportunity. So anytime they're playing on this FOMO, right? Fear of missing out on the investment side. If, oh my gosh, this stock is going to double, you got to put money into it right now. Don't worry. We'll worry about the paperwork later. We'll take care of that at a future time. You have to put this money in this right now. That fear of missing out again. Think about what they're doing. They're playing with your emotions. They're not reasoning with the rational side of your brain. They're trying to hijack that rational side by getting those emotions involved and getting you to not think about these transactions, right? That's a huge warning sign. We'll worry about the paperwork later. We are a paperwork industry on the finance side, right? We have a lot of paperwork, and there is no circumstance legally that I can think of from legally doing a transaction with a client that we do paperwork later. Nope. We do paperwork now. We do paperwork right away. There's a whole slew of things that we have to comply with, and it all starts with glorious paperwork. So I would never do a transaction with a client and it says, hey, send over a bunch of money. We're going to get invested. Don't worry. We're going to do paperwork later. No, that's breaking laws, several of them off the top of my head, right? So anytime they say you have to do it now, you're going to miss out. Don't worry. We'll figure out the paperwork later. There's a catch to this. The other thing, think about the guaranteed rates of return that people are doing. And my dad, years and years ago, he actually used to be an auditor and inspector on oil rigs, and companies would bring him in order to spec out kind of venture deals and things that are going on to say, hey, is this a good idea or not? So there's some fascinating stories from that experience in the 70s. But one of the things he always told me, it says, Micah, whenever I was looking at these oil deals, the ones were like, oh my gosh, it's going to make money. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing. I'd always ask him how much of their money that they're investing into it. Because you know what? If they knew it was going to make money, why would they want your money? The only reason they want your money is because they don't want to put theirs at risk. So that's the same thing here, right? If all of a sudden you have this great opportunity that's going to be there, it's so secret you can't tell anyone. Why are they telling you about it? Why wouldn't they just put their own money into this great opportunity and take advantage of it, right? So think about these things when they come up. So anytime someone's working with you and they're hijacking that rational side of your brain, your emotional side is kind of clicking in a lot and you're making a lot of decisions like, or you're told not to talk to anyone about it. You're told not to do paperwork or worry about this later, right? I have to move money right now or you're going to miss this deal. These are huge, huge warning signs. Stop. Do not go any further. Stop your communication. Can go talk to a third party, right? A financial planner, a CPA. I don't know if attorney would help with this or not, right? But somebody who could look at this and be able to say, hey, is this a real thing or not? There's a way to vet them. Now, there's a lot of these companies that are coming out that are posing to work for other companies. They're posing to be endorsed by Dave Ramsey, but they're not. They're just taking the name of someone who's endorsed by Dave Ramsey and saying they work for that company. So we're having to do more and more due diligence now to make sure that your money stays with you, right? I want you to keep your hard-earned money for your retirement. So again, be really careful of these scams. If they happen to you, my heart goes out. These are definitely things, professionals that are exceedingly good at what they do, unfortunately, and robbing people of their money. So this is something that can happen. If it does happen to you, change bank accounts, right? Don't say, oh, that's done. Nope. Any account they were associated with, yank all the money out today, open a new account, put that money in. Is it a pain in the butt? Absolutely, right? But we don't know how much access they have, and you want to make sure that you are taken care of. Another thing to think about is kind of as you transfer this money over into the new bank account that's set up, it's also filing a police report, filing an FBI report as well, letting them know what's going on. Is something going to happen immediately? No, but we need to let authorities know, and so they can start working on this as well. So I want you to take this information, use it, share this information along. I want to make sure that you get every penny that you've earned for your benefits, for your retirement, etc. And I want to make sure you keep all of the money that you're supposed to keep and it doesn't get stolen away by a ridiculous scam at the end of the day. Till next time, happy planning.